Welcome back to the channel where we explore the rarest and most valuable coins in your pocket, in your drawer, or sitting quietly in a jar at home. Rarest coins. Today we're taking a deep look at a coin that has captured the attention of collectors and casual viewers all over the world, the 1965 Washington quarter. Some people say it's worth up to $1.9 million. That's right, a 25-cent coin turning someone into a millionaire. But is that even possible? What's the story behind the 1965 quarter, and is it really worth nearly $2 million? Let's dive into the facts, the history, and the mystery behind one of the most talked about coins in American numismatics. First, let's understand the historical context. Before 1965, quarters in the United States were made of 90% silver. This included Washington quarters from 1932 to 1964. But by the early 1960s, silver prices were rising fast. It got to the point where the metal in the coins was worth more than the coins themselves. People started hoarding them, melting them, and the U.S. Mint found itself in a crisis. So, in 1965, a major change took place. The U.S. Mint stopped making quarters out of silver and introduced a new composition, a copper-nickel-clad coin. Basically, a sandwich of copper in the middle and nickel on the outside. These new coins looked similar but were cheaper to produce and had no precious metal value. Now here's where it gets interesting. 1965 was supposed to be the first year that all quarters were copper-nickel. Silver was officially phased out. But mistakes happen, and sometimes those mistakes are worth a fortune. That brings us to the legend of the 1965 silver quarter. Despite the official switch to clad coins, a few silver blanks from 1964 were accidentally left in the presses at the Mint and were used to strike 1965 quarters. These rare transitional error coins were not supposed to exist, and they are extremely valuable because of their rarity and the historical mistake they represent. That is, how do you know if your 1965 quarter is one of these rare silver ones? The easiest way to check is by looking at the edge of the coin. Normal 1965 quarters will have a distinct copper-colored stripe along the edge. If yours doesn't, and the entire coin appears silver all the way around, you might have something special. Another way is by weighing the coin. A regular 1965 clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but a silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams. That slight difference can be all it takes to uncover a coin worth thousands, or possibly even more. Now let's talk about that $1.9 million figure. There are reports and rumors floating around the internet about a 1965 quarter that sold for nearly $2 million. That kind of price is absolutely wild, and it catches people's attention. But is it true? Here's the reality. There is no confirmed public auction where a 1965 Washington quarter sold for $1.9 million. That number seems to be inflated or based on unverified claims. However, there are real, documented sales of 1965 quarters that fetched thousands of dollars. For example, a rare 1965 silver quarter, authenticated and graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC, has sold for more than $7,000. Another specimen in nearly perfect condition, with a mint state grade of MS67 or higher, has been known to reach prices over $12,000. These aren't hypothetical numbers. They're real auction results that while the $1.9 million price tag might be exaggerated. The truth is that certain 1,965 quarters are incredibly valuable and highly sought after. And let's not forget about condition and grading. That if you happen to have a 1965 quarter in pristine, untouched condition, I'm talking no scratches, full luster, sharp details, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on the grade it receives from a grading company. The higher the grade, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Let's break it down. 1. A normal 1965 quarter in circulated condition is only worth 25 cents. 2. A high-grade uncirculated 1965 quarter can sell for $100 to $500 or more. 3. A confirmed 1965 quarter struck on a silver planchet can sell for thousands. 4. If somehow, somewhere, a unique error coin from 1965 with perfect condition and historic significance surfaces, it could, in theory, push toward $1 million price. But that remains to be seen. Here's what you should do if you find a 1965 quarter. First, check the edge. If there's no copper line and it looks silver, that's a red flag. in a good way. Second, weigh the coin on a precise scale. If it comes in at 6.25 grams or close to it, you might be holding a silver error. Third, don't clean the coin. Cleaning a rare coin can destroy its value. Finally, take it to a professional coin dealer or submit it for grading by a certified company. Coins are like treasure maps. Some lead nowhere. Others could lead to serious money. And remember, stories like the $1965 million quarter may be exaggerated, but the core truth is still exciting. Rare coins exist, and they do sell for huge amounts of money to SO. The next time you get change back at the store, don't just throw it in a jar. Check those quarters. Look at the dates. You never know when history and fortune might collide right in the palm of your hand. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos about valuable coins, currency secrets, and hidden treasures. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you're going to start checking your change a little more carefully. This is your reminder. The next million-dollar discovery could be sitting in your pocket right now. See you in the next video. And as always, happy coin hunting. Let me know if you'd like to break this into segments for reels, shorts, or add a visual shot list for editing. Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and money that might be worth a whole lot more than what it says on the surface. Rarest coins. Today we're talking about a coin that most people wouldn't give a second glance. The 1966 Washington quarter. It's just a regular quarter, right? Worth 25 cents? Well, not so fast. There are claims out there that one 1966 quarter sold for an unbelievable $1.8 million. That's right. A coin you could have in your pocket right now might be worth more than most homes. But how true is that? Is it real? Is it hype? And what exactly makes this quarter so special? Let's take a step back and go through the full story, the history, the facts, and the possibilities that might turn a simple coin into a six or even seven-figure payday. To understand the value of the 1966 Washington quarter, we have to understand its background. The Washington quarter first appeared in 1932, honoring the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It was intended as a commemorative coin, but it was so well received that it became a permanent part of U.S. currency. From 1932 to 1964, Washington quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. These silver coins are now worth much more than face value because of the metal content alone. But in 1965, everything changed. Due to rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint removed silver from the quarter's composition entirely. Starting in 1965, all quarters were struck with a copper-nickel-clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. This new type of coin was cheaper to produce and more durable, but it no longer had intrinsic metal value. Which brings us to 1966. The 1966 quarter was the second year of this new clad coinage. The mint produced hundreds of millions of them, over 800 million in total. So, in general, the 1966 quarter is considered extremely common. You can find it in pocket change even today, but just like every rule, there are exceptions. And some exceptions can be worth a fortune. Now let's talk about the million-dollar question. What is the deal with this $1.8 million claim? Is there really a 1966 quarter that sold for that much? The short answer is that there are stories circulating online about a 1966 Washington quarter with unique characteristics. An ultra-rare error coin, possibly struck on a silver planchet by mistake, that sold for a massive amount, allegedly around $1.8 million. But when we dig into the facts, no official auction record confirms that specific sale. There is no listing at major auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers confirming a 1966 quarter going for anywhere near that price. That is, where does the value come from? There are three major things that can make a 1966 quarter worth serious money. First, mint errors. During the mid-1960s, the mint was under pressure. There was a coin shortage and the switch from silver to clad coins was still fresh. Mistakes happened. Some quarters may have been accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. Others may have been misstruck, off-center, or double-struck. Rare errors like these, especially when they're dramatic and visible, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Second, condition. Most 1966 quarters were heavily circulated. That means they have scratches, wear, and damage from years of use. But in rare cases, a 1966 quarter was pulled from circulation immediately and preserved in near-perfect condition. These coins, when graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can receive grades like MS66, MS67, or higher. The highest grades bring the highest value. In fact, some mint state 1966 quarters have sold for over $3,000 depending on their condition, luster, and eye appeal. Third, collector demand and rarity. Every so often, a coin comes along with a unique combination of condition, error, and provenance, meaning its history and story. If a 1966 quarter were found with a verified striking error in pristine condition on a silver planchet, with documentation and grading from a reputable authority, the value could skyrocket. Could it reach $1.8 million? In theory, yes, but only if it's one of a kind and becomes a trophy piece for a serious collector to So what should you be looking for? Here's how to spot a potentially valuable 1966 quarter. 1. Check the coin's edge. If you see the copper-colored core sandwiched between the outer layers, it's likely a standard clad quarter. But if the edge looks silver all the way around with no copper stripe, that's worth a closer look. Point 2. Weigh the coin. A clad 1966 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter would weigh around 6.25 grams. That small difference could be worth thousands of dollars. Point 3. Look for errors. Off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and other mistakes from the minting process can dramatically raise the value of a coin. Point 4. Preserve the coin. Don't clean it. Don't polish it. If you think you've found something special, store it safely and have it examined by a professional or graded by a certified coin grading company. Here's a bonus tip. 1965 through 1967 quarters do not have mint marks. That's because during those years, the mint wanted to discourage coin hoarding. So if you see a mint mark on a 1966 quarter, it's likely a fake, or possibly something even stranger, like a minting anomaly worth investigating. Now, to wrap this all up, the 1966 Washington quarter you have in your hand is most likely worth 25 cents. But under the right conditions, with a rare error on the wrong planchet, or in a perfect grade, it could be worth hundreds, thousands, or in the most extreme and unlikely cases, possibly even millions. The $1.8 million story may be more myth than reality, but the opportunity is still real. Rare coins exist. Errors happen. And if you take the time to look, research, and learn, you might just stumble onto a hidden treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. We talk about rare coins, valuable bills, and everything related to turning everyday money into something extraordinary. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a strange quarter or if you're going to start checking your coins more closely from now on. You never know, the next $1 million coin could be in your change jar right now. See you in the next one. And as always, happy coin hunting. Let me know if you want this script broken down into segments for video editing, or if you'd like versions for Shorts or TikTok. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we talk coins, cash, and collectibles. Today we're diving into a really exciting and controversial topic, the 1994 D Washington quarter. There's a lot of buzz out there claiming this coin is worth over $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.25 could be hiding in your pocket, or it could be a life-changing payday. But is it real? Is it hype? And what makes this coin so special? Let's break down the history, the facts, and the value behind the 1994 D Washington quarter and separate the myths from the million-dollar reality. First, a bit of background. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was only supposed to be a one-year commemorative coin, but it became so popular that it replaced the standing Liberty quarter permanently. The design features the iconic profile of George Washington on the front, and, for coins minted between 1932 and 1998, an eagle on the reverse. Now fast forward to 1994 that year. The Denver Mint produced over 880 million Washington quarters. That's right, nearly a billion of them. So what makes the 1994 D so special if it's such a common coin? Here's where it gets interesting. Most 1994 D quarters are only worth face value, 25 cents, maybe 50 cents, or $1 in uncirculated condition. However, rare errors, varieties, and exceptionally well-preserved coins can be worth a lot more. So where does this $1.3 million claim come from? There are rumors and viral stories online about a 1994 D quarter selling for over $1 million. Some articles mention rare errors or suggest that a unique specimen with perfect condition and some kind of minting mistake fetched a massive auction price. But here's the truth. There is no verified auction record of a 1994 D quarter selling for $1.3 million. None. Not at heritage auctions, not at Stack's Bowers, not at any reputable numismatic source. That doesn't mean rare 1994 D quarters aren't valuable. They absolutely can be, just not $1 million valuable. Let's talk about what actually gives a 1994 D quarter its value. First up, mint errors. Some 1994 D quarters have been found with off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, or even struck on the wrong planchet. These are production mistakes that can make a coin significantly more valuable to collectors. For example, a 1994 D quarter with a dramatic off-center strike or a visible double die might sell for $100 to $500 or more, depending on its condition and how visible the error is. Second, condition matters a lot. A regular 1994 D quarter in circulated condition is worth 25 cents. But one that's in mint state, graded MS 67 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, can be worth hundreds of dollars. Why? Because most coins show signs of wear from use. A coin with no scratches, no wear, perfect luster, and sharp detail is much more desirable to collectors. In fact, a 1994 D quarter graded MS 67 by PCGS has sold for over $500 in the past. If it ever reaches a confirmed MS 68 or higher, the price could push into the thousands due to rarity. Now here's the key thing. Coins like the so-called $1.3 million quarter are often the result of misinformation, clickbait, or a misunderstanding of how coin grading and auction sales work. Unless there's a certified error, a unique die variety, or a record-breaking grade, that $1 million price tag is just a fantasy. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't check your change. You'd be surprised how many valuable coins are still out there in circulation. Especially quarters from the 1960s or earlier that are made of silver. They can be worth $5 to $10 or more just for their metal content. So here's what you should look for in your 1994 D quarters. 1. Look for mint errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or anything that looks odd. 2. Check the coin's condition. If it looks brand new or unusually sharp, it could be a high-grade coin. 3. Look for certified sales. Go to PCGS, NGC, or heritage auctions to see if your coin matches a valuable one. If you think you've found something special, don't clean it. Take it to a coin dealer or submit it for professional grading. To wrap it up, is there a 1994 D Washington quarter worth $1.3 million? Probably not. But are there rare, valuable 1994 D quarters out there? Absolutely. And if you know what to look for, you might just find one. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new today, or you're going to start checking your pocket change a little more closely, give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins, valuable currency, and everything in between. Drop a comment if you have a 1994 D quarter. You never know, you might be sitting on a small fortune. See you in the next one, and happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like this rewritten for a shorter TikTok script, or split into segments with visuals and callouts. Welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential treasure. Today, we're diving into a coin that many people overlook every single day, the 1981 P Washington quarter. Rarest coin. It's just a regular quarter, right? Worth 25 cents, maybe 50 if it's shiny? Well, there's a growing buzz around this coin, and some people are claiming that a rare version of the 1981 P quarter sold for an eye-watering $1.5 million. That's right. One single coin, from a year not that long ago, supposedly brought in a fortune. But what's the real story behind this claim? Is it possible? And could you be holding one of these valuable quarters without even knowing it? Let's uncover the facts, explore the history, and break down exactly what makes some 1981 P quarters potentially worth thousands, or maybe, just maybe, even more. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a part of U.S. coinage since 1932. It was originally struck to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, and it was meant to be a one-time commemorative coin. But it became so popular, it stayed. From 1932 through 1964, quarters were made from 90% silver. But due to rising silver prices, starting in 1965, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel clad composition, a copper core with a nickel outer layer. That brings us to the year 1981, BY 1981. Washington quarters had been struck in this clad format for more than 15 years. And the Philadelphia Mint, which is what the P stands for, produced over 600 million Washington quarters that year. So with so many made, how could one be worth $1.50 million? Let's be clear right up front. The average 1981 P quarter is not rare. In circulated condition, it's worth its face value, 25 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, a typical one might go for a few dollars. So where does the $1 million value come from? There are three main possibilities that can dramatically increase the value of a coin, like the 1981 P quarter. First is condition and grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin, especially when we're talking about mint state coins. A 1981 P quarter that's graded MS67 or MS68, with perfect luster, sharp details, and zero marks or scratches, can be extremely rare. The highest known grade for this coin is very limited, and when you get into those top population numbers, collectors will pay serious money. In fact, a 1981 P quarter graded MS67 by PCGS has sold for several $100s, and if a pristine MS68 example were ever certified, it could potentially sell for thousands. But is that enough to get to $1.50 million? Not quite. That brings us to the second factor, errors and varieties. Mint errors are one of the biggest reasons ordinary coins become extraordinarily valuable. And the 1981 P quarter has been known to show some rare and dramatic minting mistakes. Some of the most valuable errors include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and coins struck on the wrong planchet. For example, if a 1981 P quarter was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin or even a different U.S. denomination, it would instantly become a major collectible. These types of errors are extremely rare, and depending on their uniqueness, they can sell for thousands or more. Imagine this scenario. A 1981 P quarter struck on a silver planchet from a different era, with a high mint state grade and a clear minting error. That's the kind of combination that can send a coin's value skyrocketing. Now here's where things get interesting. There are rumors, stories, and even viral articles that talk about a 1981 P Washington quarter selling for $1.5 million. But here's the honest truth. There is no verified public auction record of that sale. That number, while exciting and attention-grabbing, appears to be more of a myth or a mix-up, but don't let that discourage you. Because while the $1.5 million claim may not be confirmed, there are 1981 P quarters that have sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars, under the right conditions. And that brings us to the third factor, rarity plus demand. The value of any collectible, whether it's a coin, a comic book, or a piece of art, depends on how rare it is and how much people want it. If a one-of-kind 1981 P quarter appeared with a perfect storm of attributes, a high grade, a dramatic mint error, and unique historical context, the right collector might be willing to pay a shocking price to own it. So could a 1981 P quarter be worth $1.5 million? It's not impossible, but it would need to be something truly extraordinary. We're talking about a discovery-level coin, the kind of piece that changes what we thought we knew about modern U.S. coinage. Here's what to look for in your 1981 P quarters. 1. First, check the condition. Coins with full luster, no visible wear, and clean surfaces are much more desirable. Use a magnifying glass and good lighting to check for sharp details. Point 2. Second, look for errors. Things like double strikes, off-center images, unusual thickness, missing elements, or strange coloration might signal a mint mistake. Point 3. Third, consider the weight. If you suspect your quarter was struck on the wrong metal planchet, weigh it. A standard clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. Anything significantly more or less might indicate something rare. Point 4. And finally, if you believe you found something special, don't clean the coin. cleaning can destroy its value. Instead, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to be graded by PCGS or NGC to wrap things up. Here's the bottom line. Most 1981 P quarters are not worth a fortune, but a small number of them, due to condition, error, or sheer rarity, can be worth hundreds, thousands, or possibly more under the right circumstances. The viral claim about a $1.5 million 1981 P quarter may be exaggerated, but the excitement behind it reflects a real truth. Hidden treasures exist in everyday places. They might be in your wallet, in your couch cushions, in that old jar of coins on your dresser. Thanks for watching. If you learned something today or just love the thrill of the hunt, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future coin breakdowns and treasure hunts. Drop a comment below if you've got a 1981 P quarter in your collection or if you've ever found a rare coin where you least expected it. You never know. The next $1 million coin might just be in your pocket right now. See you next time. And as always, happy coin hunting. Let me know if you want a version for Shorts, Reels, or TikTok. I can also add visual suggestions for editing or thumbnail ideas. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden gems in your pocket change, the stories behind America's coins, and how you might be holding something far more valuable than it seems. Today we're zooming in on a coin that millions of people have handled without a second thought, the 1998 P Washington quarter. It's just a regular quarter, right? Worth 25 cents and nothing more? Well, not so fast. There are stories online and in coin collecting circles about a rare version of the 1998 P quarter being worth up to $1.2 million. That's not a typo, $1.2 million. The idea that a common-looking coin from the late 90s could command that kind of price seems unbelievable. Oh, what's the truth? Is there really a 1998 P quarter worth over $1 million? What makes it special? And how can you tell if the one sitting in your drawer or change jar is worth life-changing money? Let's dig into the history, the facts, and the rare possibilities that might just make you a believer. First, let's talk about the basics. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932. It was originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, the design on the front has remained relatively consistent, showing a portrait of Washington based on a sculpture by Jean-Antoine Hedon. But the back of the coin, the reverse side, saw major changes beginning in 1999 with the introduction of the 50-state quarters program. That makes 1998 the last year of the traditional eagle reverse design before the mint switched to the rotating state themes. That alone makes 1998 quarters more interesting to collectors. But let's talk about the coin itself. The P in 1998. P means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 896 million quarters. That's nearly 900 million coins, so we're not talking about a rare mintage year. Most of these coins are common and worth face value. However, as with many modern coins, value isn't always about how many were made. It's about how rare a specific version is. And that brings us to why some people believe a 1998 P quarter could be worth $1.20 million. So where does that $1 million story come from? Let's be honest. As of today, there is no official public auction record of a 1998 P quarter selling for $1.2 million. That number likely comes from online rumors, viral videos, or exaggerated listings. But just because the price may be inflated doesn't mean there isn't truth behind the story. Let's break it down. There are three major things that can make a 1998 P quarter valuable. Number one, rare mint errors. In recent years, coin collectors have discovered that some 1998 P quarters were struck with minting mistakes that make them incredibly valuable. One of the most famous is the 1998 P quarter struck on a planchet intended for another coin, such as a dime or a foreign coin. These kinds of off-metal errors are extremely rare and can sell for thousands of dollars. Another known error is double striking, where the coin is struck more than once, leaving overlapping images. Some 1998 P quarters have been found with partial extra strikes or misaligned strikes, making them worth hundreds or more depending on condition. There are also off-center errors, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned in the press. The more dramatic the error and the more of the design that's still visible, the more valuable the coin can be. Number two, condition, and grade. A coin's grade has a massive impact on its value. Most 1998 P quarters have been circulated, meaning they've been used for everyday purchases, picked up scratches, lost their original shine, and show signs of wear. These coins are typically worth just 25 cents, but in uncirculated condition, especially in mint state grades above MS66, the value starts to climb. The higher the grade, the fewer examples exist, and collectors will pay a premium. A 1998 P quarter graded MS67 by PCGS has sold for hundreds of dollars. If a perfect example ever receives an MS68 or higher, its value could jump into the thousands. Number 3. Collector interest and timing. The 1998 P quarter is the end of an era. It's the final issue before the State Quarter series began in 1999. That gives it a certain appeal to collectors who are trying to build full sets or who want to own a piece of coinage history. That collector demand, combined with rare errors and high grades, can lead to surprising prices. So is the 1998 P Washington quarter worth $1.20 million. Right now, there's no confirmed sale at that level. But if someone were to discover a unique coin, let's say a 1998 P quarter struck on a silver planchet from an earlier era, with a dramatic double strike and graded in pristine mint condition, then yes, that coin could potentially sell for an astronomical price. In the rare coin world, when something is one of a kind and highly desired, all it takes is 2 collectors who really want it, and the price can go through the roof. Now, here's what you should be looking for. First, grab a magnifying glass and examine your 1998 P quarters carefully. Look for anything unusual, strange shapes, doubling of letters or numbers, misaligned designs, or odd metal coloration. Second, weigh the coin. A standard quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs significantly more or less, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet. Third, check the coin's edges. A clad quarter should show a visible copper-colored stripe on the edge. If that stripe is missing, it might mean the coin was struck on a different type of metal, and most importantly, do not clean the coin. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value instantly. If you believe you found something special, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC.S. Let's recap. The 1998 P Washington quarter is a common coin in circulation, but certain rare versions, because of mint errors or high grades, can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The $1 million figure may be exaggerated, but the hunt is still very real. If you've got a stash of quarters lying around, it might be worth your time to go through them. The rarest treasures are sometimes hiding in plain sight, and your next coin find could be worth more than just a quick trip to the vending machine. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story and potential value of the 1998 P Washington quarter, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got more videos coming your way that could help you turn your change into cash. Leave a comment below if you've found a strange or rare coin before, or if you're going to start checking your pocket change a little more carefully from now on. Until next time, keep hunting, keep learning, and who knows, the next $1 million coin might be sitting right in your hand. Let me know if you'd like help turning this into a video outline, adding visual cues for editing, or breaking it down into shorter segments for YouTube Shorts or TikTok.